a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum, the number one sports betting vibe on the internet. I'm your host, Nick Dais. My co-host, my dog, the man to my left, Mr. George Carmona.
George is in the building wearing a Wyoming shirt. And if you're an audio listener, I figured I would tell you that because, Nick, I've never been to Wyoming. And I feel like
Don't plan to.
we always have like a punching bag type feel for Idaho and Wyoming. And, you know, I think what would make you want to go to Wyoming?
A foursome.
Three girls?
Yes, George.
Well, Nick, you said a foursome. I wanted just to be clear here.
Yeah.
I mean,
3 versus 1 handicap match is what gets me going to Wyoming, Idaho, all that. I have no desire to go to the Dakotas,
got it.
to go to Wyoming, to go to Montana. I'm sure there's great girls there too. Reach out in the DMs. I'm single, ready, and available. That's what would get me to go out there. But
Perfect.
no desire to go out
I'm booking this for you, dude. I'm booking this. There's got to be some sort of escort service out there in Wyoming, and I'll just shoot you off. It'll be like the brothel that you saw in Harold and Kumar back in the day. If you know, you know. It'll be one of those. Just pick them out.
there. Yeah. Speaking of picking out,
Yes.
this coffee here was brought to you by George Carmona. Thank you, sir, for paying your debt.
Which one do you want that one to be? Do you want it to be the 49ers or do you want that one to be the Bears?
Let's go with this one tastes like a trust me.
Okay.
7-1, by the way, on the year. I mean, listen, if you don't trust
really
me by
picked
now,
the Texans, and I was like, wow, like Nick's starting to tank his trust me record. I was like, this fucking dude's got something good going here. He's picking the fucking Texans, who looked unbelievably bad on Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. And I thought there was no way in hell that offense was going to bounce back. And boy, was I wrong. Nick, they put up 300 yards of offense in the first half.
and bro, hold on. Nico Collins didn't play. Like, this is what I mean. It's one of my favorite spots in football. The team that I'm going to push back a little bit. Their defense looked amazing against the Seahawks.
Correct.
The offense,
Atrocious.
a JV team could have played better.
Agreed.
So what do we see? A standalone game in which the Niners won against the Falcons, who just beat the Bills. You know, we remember that game. I was fucking cashing in my Bijan ticket, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it's the standalone theory, bro. This game was perfect for people to understand it. We see the Niners beat a team that was coming in hot with a lot of momentum.
Right.
Then we saw a team lose by 2 possessions, but the defense played so well. And it was a must-win. You know, I hate using the term must-win, but if you were the Texans, you're looking at the Colts, you're like, oh, we ain't fucking catching them. But for us to have any hope in this season, we got to win this game. And it was just perfect. It was -1.5 all fucking week. Shouts to Goulet, John Goulet, who does audio for us here in the studio sometimes. When I mentioned this Texans pick to him, he comes into the studio. Is like, man, they're begging you to take the Niners. They're begging you. And a lot of people, you know, they had like an 82% handle also. So it's just one of those things where, like, it's kind of a spot where I have to almost blindly take.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really just going based off of what I figured schematically and in coaching wise, I felt like there was such a huge mismatch. And so that's why for me too, I was like, man, this is a spot where at worst, like this is going to be the Texans kick a field goal to win at the end. I lose the bet. But no, I got literally like redhead in the thumbnail on the hub, bro.
Yeah.
It was just the 49ers sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing too, we saw this happen not in our favor with the Bears and Lions game, but DeMeco Ryans was the defensive coordinator. He knows that staff. He knows what they like to do.
Yep.
And I think to not have Nico Collins, who I've said, I said it on the previous show, I feel like he's one of the receivers that like half a point against the point spread.
For sure.
And that's saying a lot. Like, only quarterbacks move the point spread. No one else really does. That's why sometimes you'll see, this running back and wide receivers out. It's like, well, it was 7 and it's still 7. Do they really matter?
Yeah.
Whereas quarterbacks, it always does. But again, yeah, just something to note, man. Just something to note.
So I will be giving you another coffee on Wednesday's show for the Bears bet. So I want people to know, like, I'm a man of my word. It sucks. Honestly, we've made 5 coffee bets before. This is the first time I've given you one. So, like, I kind of want to brag about, like, you know what? I'm turning a new leaf.
Yeah.
And I'm owning up to all the coffee that I've owed Nick throughout the years.
A man of honor.
Because, Nick, it's really bad this year, bro. Arkansas football has not won a game in 2 months. They turned the ball over 3 times in the fourth quarter, right? The Saints put in Tyler Shook. We'll get to him in a little bit, but the Saints are a losing football franchise. I myself am just surrounded by these organizations that suck. And I want to start figuring out a way to pay the football gods back a little bit. And I think this is a good start. So I'm hoping 2 coffees this week. Arkansas wins on Saturday, and we're going to start to get the good karma going for the second half of the year.
I like it. I'm for it because it also benefits me. Coffees at the Win are not cheap, so thank you.
You already know how much that one was. It was a 16 ounce too. I'm like, what in the world?
Did you tell them? No, I only wanted one. And they're like, yeah, for one. Because that the first time I ever got coffee here, I was like, no, I only want one. They're like, yeah, it's one. I was like, oh man, not gonna make that mistake again.
16 ounces of coffee, $8.
Hey man, live on the show, I wanna throw a curveball at you. I wanna do the craziness with the sports betting scandal. Let's close with that.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're in the groove now of football. A ton of people have hit me up, and we're gonna address it. We'll save it for the end. Perfect. I want to get right into football.
Let's go.
My heart is broken for many reasons. Why do you think my heart is broken, George? Let's see how well you know me.
Because Kirk Cousins is a terrorist and he is single-handedly ruined the Offensive Player of the Year ticket. That's got to be it, bro. He's the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
First of all, I want to just say one thing. With all the chaos that went down at the end of last week with the NBA betting scandal, Michael Penix should just pop up out of nowhere. Like, bro, I literally made the Bijan Robinson bet because Penix was the quarterback. And him and Drake London don't play, which also the Falcons, I love that spot, right? Like, Miami is atrocious against the run. Falcons are at home where we love to back them at home when they have Penix and they have London and Pitts and obviously Bijan. Out of nowhere, the Penix is out. You're like, okay, come on, bro. Miami's hanging on by a thread. And like, dude, I mean, what the fuck was that? The offense looked atrocious. It looks like he was in pain. I don't know if it's an Atlanta Falcon quarterback thing because I feel the same way about Penix, and I think it might be because he's a lefty. I don't like lefty quarterbacks. The rotation of the football is different. Right. I don't like that your right tackle is more important than your left. It just fucks the whole offense up, right? But it just looks like he's always in pain when he's going to throw. Like, remember how Phillip Rivers used to throw?
Just shot putting, bro. Like,
yeah.
It used to just,
Yeah,
it would be nasty looking for sure.
It looked like that. And then with Kirk Cousins, like, he just couldn't. 3 and outs on 4 of the first 5 possessions, not counting a halftime kneel down. They come out at halftime. Of course, Bijan starts getting going. I'm like, all right, a little slow first half. Fumbles. Then the game is over there. You know, I had the Falcons in my eliminator contest. I'm officially out of eliminator. I had 4 entries still, bro. I bought in with 4. I had 4. Lost both of them.
Wow.
Because I took the Falcons in 2 and I took the Bengals in 2.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, what a weekend.
Well, this is what was happening, bro. I was saying, because I've told you my approach to eliminator contest, 3 condoms. Just get me to the next week. And I took 2 7-point favorites. But that's what I get for backing 37 and 39-year-old quarterbacks.
That is true.
So,
Yeah.
But back with Kirk Cousins, I mean, bro, it looked like Penix ain't exactly lighting it up, but you just see now if the drop off from Penix to Kirk is like
he's slow.
Insane.
Yeah. Like the lack of mobility in the pocket, and I'm not expecting Kirk Cousins to be scooting around, but when Joe Flacco in back-to-back weeks has shown us, hey, this is how you manipulate and move around the pocket. Bro, he was taking like Eli Manning type sacks where the pressure would just come in and he would just collapse. And I cannot stand to watch that type of football. He would call the audibles and nobody on the offense knew what the audible was. He would check to something and his receivers would literally go back and look at him like, Kirk, what the fuck are you talking about? And then bro, we saw this on the quarterback documentary where Kirk Cousins would leave a voice memo to his quarterback's coach after the game, just talking about what he saw. I would literally pay $10,000 to get that voice memo from this past game, because there's no way he didn't say, Inshallah, my brother, we did it. Bro, I blew it up.
He fucking
Inshallah
fucked the whole thing up, bro. Just
so bad.
That was supposed to be 150 total scrimmage yards and 3 touchdown game from Bijan Robinson, and then add insult to injury, Tyler Algier scores. And then again, like on another note, right? Like offensive player of the year bet aside, the fact that they continue on 3rd and 2s, 4th and 1s, 4th and 4s, to not have Bijan Robinson on the field, it is a criminal act.
It is.
Get him on the fucking field. Even if he jet sweeps, 4 linebackers are going to shift over with him. A safety's going to come down. Like, bro, for the love of all the football gods, keep him on the field.
Oh.
And it's so frustrating, bro. Offensive player of the year, unless Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, it is his. He is minus 300.
Jesus.
I think Jonathan Taylor is not the offensive player of the year because I think right now he's the MVP. And I'm happy we said this a week and a half ago, because now the conversation is like, well, a running back hasn't won it. Can it be him? And then you have people saying, well, Saquon didn't win it last year. It can't be him. Well, newsflash, through 8 games, he's doing better than Saquon did last year.
Almost as many touchdowns. I think he has 1 less touchdown than Saquon did all of last year, and it's week 8.
Yeah. And he's on pace to have more scrimmage yards. And, hey, man, we went through the Colts schedule. They got that game against the Chiefs. Outside of that, like, this is a 4-loss team at worst.
Bro, how insane are some of the graphics that you're seeing on these Colts Jonathan Taylor gaps? Like, he's getting handoffs, and there was not a defender in between the hashes. How does that happen? The Titans are terrible, but they're doing it to every team every week. That's a whole nother beast. I know we were. Is there anything else to discuss on the Falcons?
No. I'm good. I'm good.
Travesty.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kirk Cousins. Our streak is over at 3 in a row, which, you know what, impressive. Shout out to all the fans, man. I feel like I'm a Falcon fan, the way they were reaching out to me about Bijan Robinson. So I appreciate all you guys, especially in the Discord. Hit us up over there. Hit us up on all social media outlets at Veterans Minimum. Let's go to the Colts, because they are legit, super legit, and I'll give you some more reasons why I think they're legit. George, what have I always told you about? Because people are saying, well, they haven't played anyone good. Their schedule, they've played the Titans twice already. Jonathan Taylor has 6 touchdowns against the Titans this year. Well, they're beating up on bad teams. Yeah, they are. They're beating the shit out of them, though. It's not like it's last minute field goal. We just got out of Tennessee with a win. Like, nah, bro, they're mauling teams.
Yeah.
Their one loss is to the LA Rams, which I'm very happy that people continue to just, oh, it's the Niners, it's the Eagles, it's the Lions, it's the Packers, the Seahawks. Cool, let's fly under the radar, baby. Matthew Stafford MVP tickets, top 4 favorite right now. We're in the, let's just low key. Let's low key, right? But that's the only loss the Colts have, and we spoke about that. Mitchell fumbling, right? There was a pass interference that didn't get called, I think it was. Like, and the Rams are a good team. So if your one loss is to the Rams, you're like, hey, bro, you lost to a team that's legit. They're a top 6 favorite for Super Bowl. It's not like you lost to the Raiders.
I was literally about to say the Raiders.
I was hesitant because the guys in the control room might stop the show as we said Raiders. But shout out to Antoine and Isaiah, Raider Nation. They're beating up on teams, man. And bro, like, again, they're juggernaut scoring. First 3 possessions, field goal, touchdown on 24 plays. They got 17 points on the board. Jonathan Taylor is, to your point with the graphics, it was funny. I saw this other meme that was like, when people say, can an average person get 1 yard in the NFL? It's like, Colts offensive line. It's just
bro, they parted the Red Sea. It's like Moses with a stick, right? Like, it's nuts.
And then again, bro, like, Daniel Jones, you got to give him some flowers. He's, in a clean pocket, 19 of 23 for 252 passing yards. Every time he drops back with the Giants, it used to be like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck.
He would hit his back foot and start sprinting forward.
Yeah. Now when he drops back, he's like, holy shit, look how much time I have.
Said, wow. This crosser just went from the left side of the field, and I just dotted him on the complete opposite hash.
And bro, they have
easily
so many ways they could beat you, and I think this is going to continue for Jonathan Taylor as long as he's healthy, because Daniel Jones is playing at such a high level. You have Tyler Warren, you have Josh Downs, you have Alec Pierce, you got Pittman. Yeah, their number 1 receiver. Like, bro, they're getting, and even Mitchell, they try to bring him in to take a deep shot, take the top off the defense. They're balling, and it's just going to be so hard to not have 8 guys in the box to stop Taylor, because it's like, oh, shit, they're going to spread you out. And then that's where Taylor beats you the way he does. I love it. Jonathan Taylor, 2 weeks ago, was 150 to 1 to win MVP. Do you know what his odds are right now, currently? I'm going to give you consensus.
12.
Very close, 15 to 1. I'm holding a 150 and a 60 to 1.
Wow.
I made it on back-to-back weeks. I think if you look at it start to finish right now, look, even Mahomes, man, on Monday Night Football, they're up right now 3 touchdowns at the time of recording. Yeah, 2 interceptions. So, like, no one's really lighting it up quarterback-wise. I think Jonathan Taylor is a serious, legitimate candidate.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just not going to – and the defense, they've just played such good complementary football. Like, there's not a – like, I was a little worried early on watching the defense and seeing what the Rams were able to do. But then I was like, at the same time, I was like, this is the Rams. Let me not overreact. But, I mean, you have to, right? Like, they're not going to have a lot of these moments to play big competition. And back to our conversation earlier where, yeah, they're beating the shit out of these really bad teams. But can I ask you what you would prefer? Would you rather go through the whole season whooping teams' asses, then playoff time comes, it's a close game? Do you want that situation, or do you want a team that's been battle tested throughout the season? Like, we know how to play when the score is close. It is important.
No, I think it's very important because I want to see how you deal with adversity. I want to see how is the Colts offense when they're down 10-0 in the first quarter. You got to remember, everything is with a lead for them. All right, look, their first 3 possessions, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. Yeah, you can run your offense at a high level. When it's in the fourth quarter and it's a 1-possession game not in your favor, let's see you then. So to answer your question, it's weird. This story right now lives in like veterans minimum lore. The year Lamar Jackson won the MVP, the first time, that was the year the Pats were like 9-0. But you were looking at their schedule, Jaguars, Raiders, Giants, Jets twice. You're like,
right.
And they were beating up on teams, but you're like, man, they don't pass the sniff test. There's something weird about them. And then they played the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And I remember I said, yo, Lamar Jackson is 12-1 to win MVP. I'd rather bet that than bet them on the money line plus 140. Because if he plays well and they win, they stopped Brady in the undefeated streak, he'll be the favorite. Exactly what happened. I think he threw like 3 touchdowns. They won the game. MVP favorite ends up winning it, right? It's kind of the same thing here where, well, not the same thing here, but what you asked me, it's like, man, I'd rather my team face some adversity so I know as opposed to like just steamrolling everybody.
Correct.
How many times have you seen, you're a bigger college football fan than I am. I feel like just from a betting standpoint, I just would always remember like Notre Dame would come into college football playoffs or even like way back when they played Alabama in the national championship, back when it was like 2 teams going. You're like, oh, Bama got the SEC and all that, and they're only 7-point favorites against Notre Dame, and they won like 42-7 or some shit. The Manti Te'o year. So it's like, I think you need a mixture of both.
For sure.
But you definitely got to be tested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you said tested early too, getting down in a game early and allowing me to see what your offense looks like. Like that, especially for the Colts. They rely on that run game a lot. So the Colts kick the Titans' ass. What's the next game we want to cover here?
Can I just ask you something about the Titans?
Yeah.
They're now 4-21 against the spread in their last 25 games, right? They're a prime example of don't matter how many points you're getting if your team is bad. Like, and how do you feel about Cam Ward? Because truthfully, the more I see Cam Ward, the bigger the satisfaction I get with Jackson Dart. Because I'm like, we got the best quarterback in the draft. I think it's already been established.
Yeah.
But it just validates it more.
Cam
is it
Ward,
him or is it the Titans?
I think he's got it. He definitely isn't a quarterback that is going to be a bust in this league. We're going to hear Cam Ward's name for the next 10 years. You know, starting backup regardless, he's going to be in the league. So I think when you are a quarterback that contains those abilities, that's a solid pick. I do think that you won because Cam Ward's senior season at Miami, he goes crazy. He starts doing the little dance, right, that everybody does now. And that's what got him that first overall pick. It was 1 year of not a lucky year, but, you know, he hit big. Kind of how I feel about Diego Pavia this year, too, where it's like everybody's talking about him, right? He's going on nightcap with Uncle Shay Shay. So don't fall for the, I don't know, 1 year wonder type hype. And that's what I think happened with the Titans and Cam Ward. I say all that. I think Cam Ward is starting to figure it out with the rookie receivers, which is something that is good for Titans football moving forward. But I don't know, bro. I think you know how tough it is to clean up a losing culture, right? You don't hang around losing people. Nobody would hang around the Titans, right? He's fucking getting paid to hang around the Titans.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's going to be a long journey. He's going to be solid enough to go 500 at some point in time in his career. That's the way I genuinely feel about him. It's not him. It's the organization.
Yeah, and look, to your point, like every time we have Maurice Claret on the show, he always talks about culture. And if you look at some of the teams that he's highlighted with bad cultures, they're the teams that are bad right now. He said Cleveland, and he's a Cleveland guy. You know, he mentioned the Giants. He mentioned the Jets. He mentioned, honestly, even he mentioned the Bengals, another team in Ohio.
Yep.
You know, he mentioned the Titans. So it's something that's very important, man. Yeah, you don't want to be around losers. It's hard to, like, escape that and all that negativity. But, yeah, there's just something about it, man. Like, he's made, like, one throw that I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought he played well when he played in Denver week 1. But yeah, just something about him. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yes.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. His coach gets fired mid-year. He goes into the season, bro. I think it's just bad because he had set the expectation so high.
Yeah.
He was calling Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley the best at their position in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, is he smoking crack?
Rough take.
It really is.
By Cam Ward, rough take.
I mean, but if you don't have that and a quarterback that you're trying to get to change your franchise, then I think you're wrong too. And he was quarterback 1 taken off the board. My boy Shook was, I think, the second quarterback taken off the board. Second round.
No, Dart was.
Dart was late.
First round, late first, yeah.
Late first for Dart, and then Shook was third. Fuck. Did we fuck up? Do you want to talk about the Saints now? And that?
Do we really want to talk about the Saints?
I just have one thing to say about Tyler Shook.
Good, yeah.
He looks like he got the number 5 at Great Clips. I can't with the faux hawk on the side. It's a number 5 at Great Clips, and hopefully Great Clips will pick him up and he'll be able to make money with them. Unimpressive. Also, Spencer Rattler threw one of the funniest interceptions I've ever seen in my life. Like, for a defender not to jump, tip it, catch it, and truck stick you. It's one of the coolest, like, highlights to go against your team. You know what I mean? And the Saints are filled with them. The Minneapolis Miracle. That would happen on Saturday, kind of, bro. It's
so
given the circumstance, obviously, the Minneapolis Miracle is worse, but at the same time, you're like, this is where our franchise is.
You know what's hilarious? One of my buddies, Finney, big Giants fan, we were texting during the game when the Giants were playing the Eagles. And after the game, the Bucks and Saints game is on. And he goes, yo, bro, you know what? This is going to sound like a hot take. I don't even think the Broncos loss was the worst loss of the year for the Giants. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, this team fucking sucks and they smoked us.
You guys gave them.
I know we gave the ball away 5 straight times, but still, like, sometimes when you look at it that way, it was just
you're like,
nuts.
Jesus.
Let's talk about the Giants. My Monday winner, -7, the Eagles. Called it, knew it. I know my team. I know when to bet on them. I know when to bet against them, especially when they go in Philly. George, they have now lost 13 straight times in the city of Philadelphia. And not only that, anytime they fucking play in the link, something bad happens, and we lost to your boy Scatterboo. Even though he's my running back, he's your boy because you were hyped.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, rip it up.
He had scored a touchdown early. You know, the parlay was live going into those afternoon games for the parlay that George put together. Devastating injury. You know why? Because, like, the Giants, for as bad as they are, 2-6, the spark that he created with Dart, you were like, yo, at least they're entertaining. They're dropping 30 balls. They're fun. They're, you know, they got the crowd. Like, he's like the heart and soul of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to go out, and that was a gross injury. You know, it's catastrophic when they're like, yeah, we don't want to show you this one.
For
like,
sure.
They don't want to show you. You have to go on the internet and Twitter and all that shit to look at the injury. The ankle looked like the Tyreek Hill shit, because I know you were driving back from where you were going, and I was like, man, Scatterboo is out for the year. And you're like, yo, what happened? I'm like, the ankle looked like it was dangling like Tyreek Hill. You're like, oh my goodness. It was rough. It sucked, but you know what? It was, I kind of expected it, man. I'm not even going to get into the officiating. Like, yeah, a couple of bad calls towards the Giants. I think they robbed Darius Slayton of a monster touchdown on Mitchell. They called offensive pass interference, which was an awful call. They've called way worse. And that was a great throw by Jackson Dart. But to me, after that injury, you're like, yeah, it is going to get ugly. And, of course, Saquon Barkley was running wild. You knew that was coming because he didn't have that, like, pop-off game. First carry, takes it for 60-something yards, scores a touchdown.
I tailed you on that. I should have made it one of my bets for the show, but I definitely put in Eagles alternate spread -13.5. It's kind of like my new, like, I want to be able to predict the ass whoopings inbound, and that one, regardless if Scatterboo is still in that game or not.
Yeah.
The Eagles would cover by it.
Yeah. The Scatterboo injury didn't prevent them from getting their ass whooped. I'm just saying, like, the morale, like, Dart looked like he was going to have a mental breakdown because that's his boy too. You know, to see your boy like that, and you know, after the game, he took responsibility because he made a high throw, but like, that was one of those freak accidents, man. You can't really blame him too much. But listen, bro, I'll tell you one thing. Jackson Dart made a couple of throws in that game where you're like, yo, bro, he threw a sideline pass to Theo Johnson that he dropped, and you're like, that's a 8-year vet, 2-time MVP type of throw. Like he threw, yeah, bro. I'm telling you, I'm gonna post that right now when you guys are watching this right now. It was a fucking dime, bro.
Back shoulder fade.
Nah, it was just like a wheel up the sideline to Theo Johnson, and like he was covered, and then the safety was coming in.
Oh, it was a cover 2 type thing where the corner went up with him, and he had to thread it.
Yeah.
Ooh, those are my favorites.
Yeah, man. And look, like he battled adversity too. You know, like he got sacked 5 times, but he added a touchdown. You know, he had a touchdown. They took one away from him too. We've spent a lot more time than we should about the Giants.
Jalen Hurts MVP still alive.
I was in my notes.
Still alive, bro.
From the moment we said that MVP is done and Offensive Player of the Year is going to be the one that carries us, it's been a complete shift. Jalen Hurts, you ready for this? He is, right now, 15 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. He's the only quarterback prior to this Monday Night Football game. I don't know exactly what Mahomes did, but the only quarterback to account for more than 20 touchdowns this year. They are 6-2. They are top of their division. Seems like they're going to be pulling away more and more. They have a dominant 3.5 game lead on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what to make of Philly. They didn't have A.J. Brown, and it looked like the offense played immaculate, moving the ball up and down. Devontae Smith seemed to be the only active wide receiver, and the Giants couldn't do anything to stop him. He had 179 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns against the New York Giants. In his last 4 games, he has 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. And, you know, we had said as a joke when it was happening, like, yo, they need to run the table kind of thing. And, you know, they lose to the Giants when they did, and they lost to the Broncos. Those back-to-back games. But after that Giants game, he was 90-1 to win MVP. Now he's 20. Better number than what we betted at 25-1. So if they continue to air it out and now Barkley got hurt, he pulled his groin, I just think it's in play, which is nice.
Agreed.
You know, have a little hope.
Yeah. I mean, the 4 it's a stat-driven and win-driven, you know, award when it comes to Jalen Hurts this year. And we are going to spread the propaganda heavy. And these I would literally say, if you're not ready for it in December, like, it is going to be a barrage of Jalen Hurts MVP graphics, posters. I'm going to be posting them around the studio. I'm going to be handing out flyers to everybody I know, just so that way the world knows he's got to win the award. That's all I got from the Eagles.
What other game you want to talk about?
We talked about the Saints. Oh, the Cowboys. You predicted the Cowboys' demise perfectly.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team give up more big runs than the Cowboys. It is laughable. How is this an NFL defense? And I'll say it like this, bro. Defense is effort. And when you see people loafing around, not sprinting to the ball, taking shit angles, not being physical, able to get off a block, there's nobody on that defense that is showing that they are worth the amount that they are getting paid. And that's unfortunate, but it's the reality. And Jerry Jones has to live with it, knowing that Mike is going and doing his thing right now. I still think it was the right decision. But this defense is so bad. They're going to start setting some worst in NFL history type stats if this defense progresses the way it is.
Yeah, there's a couple of things here. The Cowboys plus 3.5 was the toxic one, bet of the week. Picks went 4-1. There was no way you could bet the Cowboys in that spot. I think Denver is still on my fraud list. I don't know. There's something about you, I don't know. I think it's Bo Nix. Bo Nix one day is going to sign for $300 million. And that contract is going to get torn apart the way Dax did, the way Tua's did, the way Brock Purdy's did. It's just like, yo, what does he do that's fucking spectacular? He should have an extra 12 touchdowns this year. He just can't throw a deep ball. He just misses guys by like And it's constant. You know, like when he did it week 1, you're like, yeah, it's the first game. Yeah, but it's been the same thing, man. He just
For
misses
2
guys.
years.
Yeah.
Even last year when I was defending him, I was like, this is why I'm defending him.
Yeah.
Because you have an offense that is not afraid to extend the field. And that is a huge portion of what the Broncos like to do. The thing that frustrates the shit out of me with the Broncos is like, how long do we have to go into a game before you start realizing that Courtland Sutton needs to get involved? Courtland Sutton is, in my opinion, the best receiver that the Broncos have. And it just is like Bo Nix is allergic to throw it to him until it's too late into the game. But once he does get going, it's like Courtland Sutton 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's so annoying to watch.
Yeah. Courtland Sutton did have a really, really bad drop in the end zone where it was wide open for a touchdown. And I vividly remember it because I had an afternoon slate anytime parlay that missed because of Courtland Sutton. And I'm one of those guys that I think my $50 investment in the sports betting community is the reason why he dropped that pass. You know, I'm one of those guys. But the Cowboys defense and just the Cowboys in general, them, Atlanta, Miami. I was going to say Indy, but I stopped myself.
Texans,
way better at home. Carolina Panthers, even though they got their shit punched in. With Bryce Young, at least, way better at home. The Dallas Cowboys, when they leave Jerry World, can barely crack 20 points. In Jerry World, all of their games, they've dropped 40. Literally 40 points. The Giants, the Packers game in overtime, and they dropped like 43 or 44 against the Commanders, right? But when they leave that place, they're catastrophic. I'll tell you this, early Monday winner, for all these reasons, they play the Cardinals at home. They're 3-point favorites. Dallas is going to bounce back lovely. Borderline, trust me. All right,
Wow.
You know, trust me is, we got a reputation to uphold.
that's crazy.
But again, they're a team at home. I love them at home. They'll put up 40 on anybody. Dude, Dak looked awful. But it's just that when they don't play at home, it's a way different team, man. It's a way different team. The Cowboys are going to be, to use the NBA term, they're a league pass team, right? Like they're a Sunday ticket team. If they're playing at home and you want to just have fireworks, you want to take an over, take the over there. It's going to be lit, but they got to play at home. So that's why. And I knew it right away. Denver coming off an emotional win, comeback win against the Giants. They're going to be at home. Dallas is coming off a blowout. They're going to go outdoors. Everybody was betting the Cowboys. No way, Jose. It was the Broncos. It was always the Broncos. So, yeah, that was kind of my thing. And let me just read you the Broncos schedule so far, right? So they beat the Titans, lost to the Colts on probably the worst call of the year, the leverage play, right? So I'll give them a pass. They lose to the Chargers. They beat the shit out the Bengals. They come back and they beat the Eagles. Barely squeak by the Jets. All-time, one-of-a-kind, never happened in the history of the game comeback against the Giants. And then they beat the Cowboys. This week, they play in Houston. Patrick Surtain is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Massive loss. Massive loss. And then they got home to the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. Then they got home to Kansas City, at Commanders, in Vegas against Denver. The reason why I stopped there is those are the games without Patrick Surtain. And if you look at the schedule, you're like, not really going to need him in these matchups.
Facts.
Yeah, obviously Kansas City you will, but they'll be at home. So, yeah, I just feel like I need to see more. I don't know.
It's giving, they're going to lose by 35 points in the first round of the playoffs.
I don't know about first round, but you know who they're kind of reminding me of? The Commanders from last year.
So you think they're capable of making a run? I just think that it's going to be one of those situations
when they
where
crash out,
it's
an alternate spread game that they crash out on.
Yeah.
It's like the other team's going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
That's how I feel about Denver. Also, how I kind of feel about New England. That's a nice little segue there. Drake Maye, third favorite to win MVP. You a Drake Maye fan?
Huge Drake Maye fan. Huge.
I hope Jackson Dart can watch Drake Maye from last year and then this year and be like, that's what I need to do. Because Drake Maye was getting fucking smoked last year. And now he got a competent coach. They got a competent quarterback. They made some good moves on offense. They haven't even unleashed Henderson yet. I mean, they kind of did this week. Was like the first time we're like, oh, he got 10 carries. Nice. Kamara 2.0. I see it now. Or Stephon Diggs. Interesting comeback player of the year. He's 30-1. You know, he scored a touchdown again. He's their number one wide receiver. He's super accurate with passes 20 yards downfield. Like him and Bo Nix, same draft class, bro. And Drake Maye's 22. Like, he's dropping dimes deep downfield where Bo Nix is missing people. How you feel about Drake Maye?
I love Drake Maye. I think that this Patriots offense, like, bro, they're right there comparable to what we were seeing with Brady towards the end, where they're making the Keyshawn Booties of the world a hell of a lot of money in the coming years. Like, this offense is producing, and I think the coolest thing about Drake Maye is he's not a rah-rah flashy guy. Like, no swag whatsoever. Looks like Justin Herbert when he first entered the league, you know, where it took Justin 4 years to start banging supermodels and wearing baggy jeans at Laker games.
Bro, you're a 6'6" quarterback, $250 million in LA. What are we? Yeah.
Drake Maye needs to embrace just a little bit of that once he goes to the Celtic games. I mean, maybe not this year. The Celtics are so bad. Maybe no Celtic games. Let's go to a Bruins game. It'll be way more well received there, Drake. So that's the part that I really think I can trust a little bit more in it, because he doesn't need the extra to get motivated. And with a Jackson Dart, I'm going to use him as prime example. The extras are what sets him apart and what makes him extremely special. But if you need to rely on that and your swagger, like if I can read you, right, and I know that you're a hyped up swaggy player, and then you go out and it's 3-and-out interception, and you go to the sideline and you start moping like a little fucking pussy. I hate when quarterbacks do that. Pick your fucking head up. Drake Maye, stone cold assassin.
Eli Manning swag.
Just, yeah.
Not too high, not too low.
Right there in the middle.
I throw a devastating pick six. Oh shucks. Darn it.
I'm coming back next drive, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that is I think that would be called moxie.
Yeah,
He's
I like
got
that.
moxie.
You know what else? I like my starting quarterback. You know what I want him to be? A fucking loser and a nerd. And I mean that with the utmost respect. I want you,
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I want you in the playbook. I want you first man in, last man out. You love football. You're off time. You're watching more film. Like, that's what I need if you're making $300 million. And I like that.
Can I add this in with the first man in, last man out?
Yeah.
First man in, last man out, and nobody knows. This isn't something that you're like, oh look, I was first today. By the way, Cam Ward, you did that shit. Let's keep it a buck. All right. Let's keep it a buck. You want to make it known that you fucking work extra hard.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you are supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that you're first in, last out. You love ball.
Bro, I love what you just said, because I be thinking about that sometimes when I'm like surfing on the internet and I'm trying to slide into DMs and girls want pats on the back for being average adults. Like, I have a job and I pay my bills. Like, yeah, pay your bills. Pay your bills.
Oh, my
like, what
God.
are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
The Pats, the Browns, another sad graphic. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett goes nuclear. I never want to hear this, by the way, where like a pass rusher is getting double teamed and that's why he's not getting sacks. Best fucking believe that the Patriots going into that game were like, we're going to do everything to make sure Myles Garrett can't stop us. And he still ends up with 5 sacks. That is first ballot Hall of Famer. It was already set in stone. But I think once you start doing shit like that on shit teams, when you're literally the only player they're focusing on, give that man his Hall of Fame jacket on the sideline.
Yeah.
Like literally give it to him before he retires.
Yeah, most sacks for a player under the age of 30 all time. Yeah, he's I don't know, because I've called him the most overrated player in the league before. Just because I'll never forget him being an absolute non-factor in that playoff game against the Browns. Against the Texans, excuse me. So, but yeah, he balled out. Rough game for Will Campbell. I think that was the first time it was
Welcome to the league.
Welcome to, bingo. Yeah, welcome to the league game for him. The other game I would like to discuss with you is, well, can we tie two into one?
The coffee bets?
Yeah.
Go ahead. We discussed the Texans.
No, not the Texans, but like
the Bears.
The Bears, Ravens, and then the Jets and the Bengals.
Yes.
Last week we were on the show and I laid out a perfect blueprint for the Bengals to be able to make a run, make the playoffs. Full transparency. The moment they lost that game, the sports book that I made my bets on gave me the full cash out back. And I was so pissed off and angry that they lost that game to the Jets that I cashed out my bets. I put 3 condoms on. I took my money back. So I saved $150. Thank you so much to the sports book. I will not mention or name because you're not a sponsor, but I appreciate you severely.
Yeah, for real.
Look, that's the kind of loss where I think your season's done if you're Cincinnati. And to flip that, I think that's a win for the Ravens that, bro, like 4 weeks ago, we laid out the Ravens running the table thing, right? And then they lost that game before the bye week because we thought Lamar was going to come back. Well, I thought they would maybe lose this game. You know, we gave them out at -6.5. That was one of the plays that I had. And then it closed at -2 because Huntley came in. So they went to Huntley as opposed to Cooper Rush, which, by the way, I love. Same kind of quarterback-ish. One's a pure pocket passer. Huntley, they ran some QB draws and QB sweeps. So I like that. The Ravens, I think we should have just
Trust her.
You should have talked me out of that Bengals bet. I think you just got.
Can I know you think it's fully over with the Bengals. And I mean, it's the Jets. So, like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to brag and I'm going to be like, they got 500 yards of offense. They were moving the ball, but it's the Jets.
Yeah.
And when they needed it most, they clearly couldn't pick up a first down. You know, like it was very, very tragic to see that the way that game transpired at the end. The shit that the Jets were doing, if Aaron Glenn doesn't get the 2-point conversion to start the fourth quarter, he gets fired on the sideline because it was a 2-point conversion when if you don't get it, you're down by 9. If you do get it, it's a 7-point game. And they end up getting it, right? So this is a non-fireable offense. But, bro, he was literally trying to find ways to lose it. And then you call a halfback pass in a condensed part of the field. What offensive coordinator does this, bro? Like, and mind you, I've never coordinated an offense. I've played months worth of Madden in NCAA. It's impossible to run a halfback pass on the 10-yard line in a situation like that where you have one receiver run out. I don't remember what the name of the corner was for the Bengals that got head topped at the end. One of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen. It's like, bro, you're staring right at him. You never once were like, let me see this fucking duck of a pass just come right over it. Like, it's crazy. I still think, though, that the Bengals, with the offensive capability, can at least make it entertaining. I don't think that this loss is now going to set them on a course to get decimated throughout the rest of the year.
I don't know if it's about getting decimated. I just think the chances of them winning divisions and making the playoffs, that was like, bro, you look at the schedule, you're like, dude, extra rest, right? Remember they played last Thursday? that I think it's a loss where you're like, yeah, it might be done for you guys. As far as those aspirations, look, they're still second in the North, right? The only silver lining is the division, because they're 3-5. Pittsburgh is 4-3. Their schedule is fucking bonkers. But like right now, you're looking at it. The Ravens are 2-5, and they're -120 to win the division. They know something. It's because you look at the schedule, and now they play Miami coming off a big win. They're at home. Lamar always plays well against Miami. Remember the year he won the MVP, that first game, he threw like 5 touchdowns. It's like a homecoming game for him. That's why I think, and defensively they did something interesting again. They went back to what worked for them last year. They moved Kyle Hamilton into the box. Highest rate since week 8 of 2022. He rushed the passer 10 times, 2 pressures, season high. Also registered 2 run stops, his first run stuffs of the season.
Jeez.
So, like, remember
he's
given him out.
too big of a body not to put him in. I mean, literally, he's the biggest player in their secondary aside from the D-line. He's bigger than any linebacker. Dude's a freaking tree out there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're finally starting to use him like that. Ah, the Bears.
Man.
I want them to be so much more than what they are. And I think that with Ben Johnson, though, they figured it out.
Have they, though?
I don't think the Bears will be bad in the years to come, is what I mean by they figured it out. Remember, the Bears are literally trash.
Yeah.
Bottom of the barrel. I don't see them being the bottom of the barrel team in the NFL for the next 5 years, as long as Ben Johnson's there with Caleb Williams. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't say
flashes.
bottom of the barrel, but you know, it's concerning that their first 3 games of the year, first 7 red zones, they scored 6 times. Touchdowns, that is. Since then, they're 5 of 16 in the red zone. You're this offensive genius. Caleb Williams, you watch him one drive, you're like, yo. You watch him another drive, you're like, yo. Same word, different context, right? And that's how I feel about him, man. It's just such a weird team. I think they're the good, bad team. Like, if they play a Jets, they play a Giants.
they get hype.
They win, they
destroy
look
it, yeah.
great.
Yep.
But then when they play someone good, and even like, bro, this Ravens team, it's not a good Ravens team without Lamar. But now with Lamar coming back, I think the path is there. The path is there. I want to end the conversation with Jordan Love and the Packers. Big win, Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
We both lost on that. We were both on the Steelers.
Yep.
That was the only loss that I had. Can I give you a comp for the Packers?
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of the 2019 Chiefs.
Okay.
That first year, 2018 Chiefs, when Pat Mahomes was the starting quarterback. I fuck with Jordan Love. He like slings.
Yeah.
Fucking 30, 40 yards downfield, off the back foot. You're like, no, yes, right? They could run the ball. Defensively, even though Nixon got called for a bunch of defensive penalties on DK Metcalf, I thought it was a really, really good DK Metcalf game. I think he was like 2 to 3 plays away from having like a legacy night, 3 touchdown kind of thing. But Valentine in the secondary, I like him. I like Nixon also. Obviously, Parsons, they could rush the passer. They're just really complete. You know, the kicker missed a couple field goals. I thought that they were going to end up covering. Like, all right, that was good. You know, Steelers up double digits going into halftime. It looked good, but, you know, they were battle-tested. It seemed like Jordan Love really got up for that game. So did Josh Jacobs and that offense. Tucker Kraft, fucking baller. Best tight end in the league right now?
Yeah, you'd have to. Tyler, yeah. No, he's just getting mass production. And he had the sick ass score the touchdown. They turn the audio of the camera on, which I always love when they do. And he's like, y'all, I forgot what he said.
This is my shit.
He's like, this is how a white man plays tight end. Something along those lines. Yeah, he's good. By the way, I mean, I know I've been crapping on the Packers offensive line, but we're now seeing multiple games in a row where you got the same unit together. There was still moments, bro. Like the Packers won that game, and I think back to some of those third downs where Jordan Love just was pressure in his face, throws it up, should have been intercepted. I'm like, I can't necessarily say that the Packers dominated the Steelers. The Steelers beat themselves. To be in position on third downs, to bring the pressure, to have it actually come home and your DBs, like, bro, that's not a game in which I would say that the Packers crushed them. But I also can't stand the fact that the Steelers don't let Aaron Rodgers cook. Like, I want to see it early and often. This whole, we got to open up the play action thing. I think he's past that. You know, he doesn't need to generate any sort of run game. Let's see Rodgers start slinging this fucking thing.
I just feel like they don't have enough weapons to do that, bro.
Yeah, they chose the fattest people in the world. Darnell Washington is a prime target these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, outside of Metcalf, like, this would have been a great team for Pickens to stay on. That's why when they got DK, you're like, oh shit, Pickens, Metcalf, you would like it. But yeah, even, you know, Roman Wilson had a hell of a play in that one escape that Rodgers had, that vintage Rodgers. But yo, he's playing well, man. Rodgers is playing really, really well. And I think if you're looking at the Packers, though, because I do think it's more of a Packers story. Look, they're 5-1-1. Their only loss is that weird game to Flacco and the Browns, which we've said that's another team that plays well at home, right? We were talking before about like the Falcons and all these teams like Miami at home, teams like that. Dallas, they're another team, especially defensively. They play fucking lights out when they're at home. And that was their only hiccup. And then, of course, the tie in Dallas. So, yeah, I think the Packers are starting to put it together. And now we're going to see over the next couple of weeks, like, what are the teams that are legit? What are the teams that we really like? Yeah. Anything else from the week?
College football was electric this weekend. Lots of come from behind victories. I definitely am starting to get like that college football feel, bro, where this is the beauty of football. You get that playoff type feel right before the NFL starts their playoffs. And so we're about to hit the sweetest 2-month stretch of betting. And I am so ready for it, bro. I am so ready. Nothing else from this weekend, though.
Yeah. All right, let's do Patreon, and then we got to talk about this fucking chaos with the betting scandal.
Yes.
Patreon.com/veterans minimum, $1 American a month. That is all we're asking for. We're closing in on 500 Patreon members. Please rate, review, subscribe, pledge to the Patreon, follow us on all social media outlets. Okay. Let's do a Monday Wonder real quick before we forget, just to put a bow on football. I forgot until now.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, let's just do that, and then we'll get into the betting scandal. Okay, my Monday winner, George, I said it before, Cowboys -3 at home. They play prime time next week. They play the Cardinals. That's where I want them. That's where I like them. I don't care that Kyler Murray has never lost in that building. I'm going with the Cowboys. Monday winners, by the way, 5-2 on the year. And for those that are not familiar, we basically pick a game on Monday for the following week. Monday winners, Cowboys, week 9, -3.
I'm going to go with the Colts, -3 on the road against the Steelers. This is a spot where you got to step up. If you are as legit as we say you are, and seeing what just happened with the Steelers against the Packers, I like the Colts in this spot. Colts -3. All right. Mafia is back, bro. The Mafia is back. La Costa Nostra. All right. It's a family tie. Pro Mafia podcast. They're back.
They're back, yeah. That was definitely a big storyline. Yo, I got to say, bro, and on a serious note, the feedback from people, or not feedback, but like the wanting to hear from me and you about this topic meant a lot to me, bro. I had so many people from my life be like, yo, bro, what do you think? What do you think? And I've told everyone, I'm like, listen, I hate to be that guy, but I also don't tell you guys to go listen to this show, especially like my close friends. You gotta listen to the show because it's just way too much. Like, I had mad people hit me up. You know when like a girl posts a bikini and they're like, so many of you have been asking where I got this from. No one's asked you. You want to just show your asshole and your cleavage, which, you know what? I'm a fan of. Go ahead. I'm all for it. No one really asks you. People actually ask me about this, George.
Yeah. I mean, because it's tough to understand, right? Kash Patel comes out last week, has a 30-minute conversation. They covered a lot of different stuff of what's been going on in the NBA betting scandal world, as well as the poker games that are being rigged by the mafia. There was a lot to unpack, and there was so many people that were running with sound bites and making their own sense of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I feel, you were very, very well thought out in the way you wanted to approach this, because it can be confusing, but we're here to make it not confusing.
Yeah, and I will say that I'm not going to speak on the poker thing because truthfully, I used to be a big poker head. I haven't played since I came to Vegas, bro. I just don't have it. I know how to play, pretty good at it. I love playing tournaments and shit, but I'm going to leave the Chauncey Billups and the poker shit because I just haven't looked into it too much. I'm talking about the actual sports betting allegations that have gone on, honestly, for a while now, but with Terry Rozier recently and then Damon Jones and this shit that hit the fan. But I want to take you on a timeline.
Let's go back.
Everyone that has listened to Veterans Minimum from its inception, like that word? That's a good one.
That is.
Trying to get better, bro.
Inception.
They know that I would always say, yo, sports betting is going to get legalized one day. That would be like my bold take every year because there was just too much money involved for it not to be legalized. And in 2018, they came down and they ruled 6-3 to strike down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, PASPA, which was what it was known. That allowed sports betting. It was a 6 or 7 year battle to get this shit going, to get legalized in certain states. And then New Jersey was like the first one in the East Coast. And then that kind of opened up the floodgates for everything that we now have. Back in the day, dude, when I was first coming out to Vegas, I'd put all my futures here. I'd have my tickets, could flex the ticket. It was cool. You didn't get tickets in New York.
Right.
You had a bookie, a line of credit, right? You all did it. It was $1 trillion industry for a reason. That's why it's all legal now. And I would put my bets in for the football season, my Euro Cups, my World Cups, and then I'd go back home and it'd give me an excuse to come back to Vegas, right? That was always my thing. There was one ticket I remember a customer of mine came to Vegas to cash. He gave me the money in New York and I gave him the ticket. He went and he cashed it. He had a good time. So that was the only place that you were allowed to gamble legally, was here in the great city of Las Vegas. That's when the fuckery started, right? The first active player was Josh Shaw. I posted a clip on Instagram of me back in the crib, mom's basement. Shout out to the crib. He was the first player suspended that was an active player who openly bet, guess where? In Las Vegas against his own team, the Cardinals. He played on the Cardinals, Josh Shaw. He was on injured reserve, but he bet on the Cardinals in a parlay and he got suspended, right? Then from there, what started happening, George? Every fucking college, league, team, fucking promotion started getting in bed with the sports books. Why? Because there was a shitload of money being thrown out. Yo, sign up bonuses, promotional boost, all this shit. There was just a bunch of money. And then what would happen, bro? Every commercial, DraftKings sponsor, FanDuel sponsor, arena started being called sports books, right? Capital One Arena in Washington became the first professional sports arena in the U.S. with a fully operational sports book. In Europe, kiosk right outside of the fucking Emirates where Arsenal will play. You could put your bet in. But in the States, it was like frowned upon. You're like, yo, what the fuck is this thing? So that happens. Then in that same year, Felipe Hernandez, MLS player, He gets suspended for betting on MLS games. Then you go to the year later, Calvin Ridley gets suspended. Then you have Miles Austin, New York Jets wide receiver coach, former NFL player. He gets suspended for betting, right? Jamison Williams just signed a 3-year, $90-something million contract for the Lions. He had to miss games for betting. So this started happening more and more. Then, of course, there was the UFC incident with James Krause and a fighter where the line completely flipped. And people are like, yo, what the fuck? And then it gets caught that, like, he knew he was hurt. So everyone was slamming the under. And when you have fishy line movement like that, they're like, yo, what is that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've had a bunch more, man. You've had a bunch more. You had Alabama. They fired a baseball coach in college linked to suspicious bets. Iowa State game being investigated for gambling. Isaiah Rodgers of the Colts, Demetrius Taylor, they were suspended from betting. It's happened on and on. NHL, Shane Pinto. These are just a list of some of them. And then obviously, let's talk about a dude who's been balling this year for the Patriots. Kayshon Boutte, illegally betting on LSU when he was over there, right? There's just been constant. Ohtani might win a World Series. Not, just won a World Series last year, the interpreter. And then, of course, we get into the NBA stuff. Jonte Porter, right? And now you have a guy like Terry Rozier. So there's been a history of this, right? Let me ask you, who are you blaming? Just in general, who are you blaming?
I blame primarily the athlete, because before any of the names that you just listed off, every athlete has heard the story of Pete Rose. And he was a manager at the time when he was placing the bets on the Reds. But the biggest thing was the all-time hit leader, the hit king, wasn't going to be able to make it into the Hall of Fame because of decisions that he made that he knew he couldn't do. That story alone should have scared the shit out of every athlete, because we would still like to think, Nick, that there's an integrity to this game that we love, all these different sports. And we would like to think that these athletes want to reach the pinnacle, which would be going into the Hall of Fame, winning championships, not having a big scandal attached to their name. However, I'm going to put the blame on the athlete first, and then right there, 1B is the sports books. And the way that these sports books have now, recently, right? The NFL with Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel are going to make $1 billion in the span of their 5-year contract. You can't get mad at me as an athlete when you're collecting from them as well. And the fact that the NFL is an entertainment company. Like, there's too many things that, in my mind, they could still be controlling, that these athletes that do have respect and integrity of the game, they're just going to get fucked over because, Nick, in this world, money outweighs everything. So as long as the dollar amount keeps going up, sports betting alone last year made $148 billion roughly around the globe. That number, what is it going to be in 5 years with the way that the advertising from these sports books are getting? And the fact that you'll be in the middle of the game seeing the no sweat parlay shit. Who are you putting the blame on?
When it first got legalized, the hipster cool take was it's going to ruin the integrity of the league. In 2019, my answer is the same as it is in October of 2025. This is a good thing for the integrity of the league. Because you know who's sniffed out all this shit? The sports books. They've been like, yo, we're getting way too much money on fucking Jonte Porter unders. Oh, why are we betting on a G League 10-dayer who's known as Michael Porter Jr.'s brother? Why is there a crazy volume on that? Why is there an $80,000 prop on his under? It's the sports book that's like, yo, Arizona State, Headache Smith in the early 1990s. How come there's just mad money, mad people coming in on Arizona State right now? They're the ones that sniff it out, bro. The integrity of the league has never been safer because of the sports books. They don't want anybody to win. Ever. Ever. I was talking to a bookmaker over the weekend. He told me something I never fucking thought of in my life, and it makes so much sense. He's like, bro, every game that's available to bet, we have an idea and an estimate of how much money that game should bring in. A Monday Night Football game, we're thinking 6 figures. It's Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday Night Football, we might touch 7 digits. And he's like, yo, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from New York, born and raised. He goes, all right, imagine St. John's and Seton Hall is playing, and in our mind, at the book, we're expecting a handle of $20,000. Dude, if we get 300,000 on that game, we're like, what the fuck is happening at St. John's?
Right.
Who sniffed that out? The sports book, the odds makers. Dude, there's been times where I've been limited at sports books for like UFC bets, subathon. I had a subathon 3 times in like 4 months, and I was going to the window because I wanted the ticket. They limited me. Who the fuck am I? I'm not a professional bettor. But sometimes they're like, yo, who is this guy? He's crushing all these bets. You know, Matty bets with Saquon Barkley. Bets it at 30, it goes to 20 to 1 last year. You know, it's like these big bets that come in. Sometimes they're like, yo, we got to limit this person. It's the sports book that prevents this. It's always been the sports book that's been like, yo, there's some fishy shit going on.
Right.
The worst of the scandal was the referee, Tim Donaghy. That one was like, I think that one's worse. Because that one's like, the player got no idea what the fuck's going on. And then he's like, yo, bro, Rasheed Wallace was like, yo, he got something against me, bro. Like, what the fuck? And then it comes out like, he had something against him for this reason. Mm-hmm. Allen Iverson, the same thing. Kobe Bryant, the same thing. The integrity of the game is protected by the sports books. Whether you like it or don't like it, you have to accept it. Yes, do they have all this money allocated to being sponsored and partnered with the teams? Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Athletes, do you think SGA is getting $70 million a year now on this super duper max that he's on if it wasn't for the betting influence? Like, bro, this is helping pay your salary. I know I've been long-winded because clearly you can see that I'm very passionate about this.
Well, no, you're cooking right now. You brought up Tim Donaghy's situation. I just want to clear this up. Scott Foster was not arrested. Everybody, I had to verify this because I saw the post, as many of you probably saw the post too, that Scott Foster was arrested. It didn't happen, but we all believed it because that motherfucker's guilty, bro. He's guilty of something. It'll eventually come out. Remember, this FBI scandal that has been reported now, everybody's saying it's the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to start coming into this? You bring up that it's protecting the integrity of the league. I question it slightly because, hear me out, the injury report thing I find very, very, very interesting because people have been getting paid for information on injuries since the dawn of sports betting creation, because it's the easiest way to get an edge the fastest. And so with Damon Jones releasing the injury reports and getting paid for that, he got caught, shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. I want you to think, who do you think the book calls to be able to adjust their line? Because they're on the hook for all the money that's being bet on those games. You don't think that the sports books have insider information on injury reports? This is where I'm a little in between on. I don't think that the books are helping the integrity of the game when it comes to stuff like that, where you're going to get mad at a coach for talking. Right? Like, right. What people can bug phone calls all the time. If you were a good enough spy and you sat outside the Lakers facility and you were able to fucking listen in on every conversation, you could make a lot of money.
Right. Hold that thought, because there's something I want to pick up off that, right? But in regards to what you're saying about the injury report was created to prevent insider information.
Correct.
So they work in cahoots with one another. Like, hey, we need to know if this person's going to be active.
But there's rules, but there's also no rules. So what are we supposed to do? You can put your entire team on the injury report.
That's what Belichick used to do.
Because why wouldn't you?
Tom Brady was questionable, I think, his whole career.
Literally.
And he always played, right? And then they even had to adjust that. Remember, it used to be probable, questionable, doubtful, out. They got rid of the probable because Tom Brady would be probable every week. Now it's like you're questionable to play, which is like a 50-50. Doubtful, it's like 90-10.
Unless
you're not
it's a
playing.
Playoff game, you're not going in.
Yeah. Unless you get fucking shot up with some PEDs or some fucking Vicodins like Perk Rogers in 2012, you're probably out. And then out is out. Like, they literally changed it for that. Now, what you just said now, the Damon Jones thing and like the locker room, my question to you is like, bro, how do you police that? Imagine me and you are athletes. We are athletes. Say we're professional athletes. You're 36 years old. I'm 34 and you're 28, right? That's what you are, right?
27.
27. Okay. You're 27, I'm 38. We're getting our ankles taped up in pregame.
Which we do before every show, by the way.
Yeah, we do that before every show. And as that's happening, you and I are getting our ankles taped. We're getting massages and all that. And Isaiah comes into the room because he's, no disrespect, Isaiah. Isaiah's the janitor, right? Isaiah's the janitor and he's cleaning up. And you're like, yo, bro, how do you feel about tonight, man? We got the Spurs. And I just turn to you and I'm like, man, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like I fucked my back up. I don't know how much of a go I'm going to give it. Isaiah hears that, hits the group chat. Yo, Nick Dais might not play tonight, bro. Bet his unders. That's my fault? Me and you are just chit-chatting. We're just yapping.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation? I don't know how you police that.
Correct.
One suggestion I did have for the Jonte Porters of the world, yo, if you don't play more than 30 minutes, I can't bet player props on you. That's it. There needs to be a threshold. It's starters. It's guys that play legitimate minutes. You shouldn't be able to bet on Jalen Hyatt's receptions.
Half.
Of a seventh wide receiver on the roster.
Correct.
That's one way you could police it. You got to play a certain amount of minutes. Draymond Green a couple years ago wanted to play in a game that either, I think it was Klay Thompson was coming back from injury, or he had a streak he wanted to continue. Bro, they tipped the ball off. He personal fouls, gets checked out. Everyone who bet his unders cashed. Ever since then, it's the Draymond Green rule. Mm-hmm. You have to play a certain amount of snaps. You have to play a certain amount of minutes. Now some sports books give you early exit clause. Cam Scatterbull, poor guy, shatters his ankle. DraftKings in particular, because it was all over the place, they gave you back your money on those bets. Or they paid out if, say, he was in a 5-leg parlay and 4 to 5 hit, and that's the one, they paid you out, right? So there's ways around it. However, to me, my whole thing is like, yo, bro, I'm over there yapping with my teammate. I can't, like, what the fuck? Isaiah's going to come in for 30 seconds and, like, what part of the conversation? Was he there? Was he not there for? That's where I'm like, how do you police it?
And here's how you police it. Because they got caught because of the amount of money that was being sent back and forth. That's all the FBI does, or at least, you know, I've watched enough investigative shows to know that the first thing they do is, if you follow the money, you'll figure out exactly what's happening. They follow the money because it's huge amounts of, I mean, upwards of $10,000 to $50,000 worth of money on injury report information that was being dispersed in wires to people that would eventually lead back to the team. So I think the question is, Nick, how much of this is already happening where it's not at the dollar amount threshold where they give a fuck? Because I know it happens. It has happened every single week this year in sports, be it college, basketball, NHL, everybody has somebody inside an organization that has told their friends, but their friends just don't bet tens of thousands of dollars.
You can't make it hot.
Correct. You can't make it hot, but then what's the fun? And that's the part that, we're going to see how these injury reports are policed. I like your idea of limiting the amount of bets that should be on a slip. That's a really good one.
I also need to, I wouldn't be me if I didn't also say this too. A very important caveat in this entire scandal with any athlete, they're also really fucking stupid for being put in this position. Terry Rozier has made over $160 million in his career. This is guaranteed money. What are we doing, bro? How much do you need? Even if I'm Terry Rozier and you're like, yo, bro, can you go under your 3-pointers tonight? I want to make 20K. Bro, here's 30. Stop. Leave me alone. I'm not going to sabotage my fucking legacy and career for you to make 20,000.
Yeah.
I'll just give it to you. And guess what? If you ask me again, I cut you off. You make my life easier. A lot of these people don't have the right people in their lives that they fall into these traps. Bro, I remember I've told my friends, I'm like, yo, I appreciate you guys for not ever letting me do no dumb shit.
Right.
I've done dumb shit, but not to the point where it's catastrophic to what I've been building out. That's the thing, man. These guys are really fucking dumb across the board. There's so many of them and it's stupid. It's like, bro, how much do you need, bro? And listen, I'm of a believer that money won is twice as sweet as money earned. I get that. But we're talking about way different numbers, bro. We're talking about generational wealth.
Yes. And mind you, there hasn't been anything that correlates these two things that I'm about to bring up. But if it is the tip of the iceberg, there is a chance that, bro, when I said the mafia is back, it's crazy. It's like it seems like they were gone forever after The Sopranos finished, and now they're back. Do you think that they are targeting these players, easily influenceable players? Terry Rozier seems like the type of person that he could be easily influenced, clearly. Do you think they target them, whether it be the poker games, the women? They get you on the hook for something.
They get you on the hook for something. And then we need to also mention that there was a book written about the greatest athlete of all time being in a betting scandal, Michael Jordan, if you watch the Last Dance. So it's been around forever. That was a different debt. He owed a golf debt, right? Again, Jordan was like, bro, I'm not a gambling addict. He's like, I could pay that. 50,000 to MJ is like $200 to us. Mm-hmm. It's way different. I also think that with these athletes and the mafia ties, what you're asking me about, can you get them in easy? Yeah, you could. And again, I also think it's the company that you keep too that gets you in trouble in these scenarios. And I'm just so happy, bro. I've been betting since I was 14 years old. Money I didn't have, money I had. I never got into a position where I'd have to worry about the FBI coming after me, or I owed so much money that I had to fucking sell off some shit. I traded in an Xbox one time to fucking pay a gambling debt. But now I'm so grateful that I'm in a position where I'll have 400 or 500 on a weekend going. It's a good enough number that it's it stings. It's like a body shag. You're like, oh,
right.
Fuck, that sucks that I lost that. Can't believe he got down at the one album first touchdown. But it's not devastating to the point where I'm gonna owe 150 people money and then people stop fucking with you. You're losing jobs, you're losing relationships.
Right.
And that's what, to bring it back to the show, that's why I love what we've been building out. Because I've always felt yo, this shit is fun. It's enjoyable. Moderation. That's why we do $25, $50 bets. Got to be able to control it. These guys can't control it. And then to your point, they get on the hook for something more significant. And I've always felt the other thing too, just to put a bow on this conversation, because we're definitely going to revisit it, because this ain't the last time you're going to hear about it.
Oh, no.
just to put a bow on this conversation, bro, think of the players that have been caught. It ain't all NBA guys. It was always going to be
the easily influenceable 7th, 8th guy off the bench.
Yeah. And my question to you, to the audience, to the sports books, how do you police that? Do you set limits on, yo, you got to be top 3 on the depth chart. You got to play 30 plus minutes a game in the NBA in order for you to be able to wager on those bets. And if we have the injury report and a CJ Watson, friend of the show, who even said, he's like, yo, I had a career night because Derrick Rose got scratched and I came in. And if you've informed people that, oh, yo, CJ is going to play 35 minutes, okay, cool. You can bet on CJ Watson props. But you can't normally if CJ is going to play 8 minutes.
Right.
Because we're not going to bet on his fucking under 3-point shots. That's one way that you could police it. You have so many things you could bet on.
Yeah.
Why even open up the floodgates, which you have, on betting on all these fucking random ass people?
Agreed. Like Nick said, this is the start of many, many people that are coming down in this situation. And man, I've always proposed this, and I really want to formulate this idea because I think it could be a really good idea to put everyone's mind at ease, is that these players can bet on everything, but it has to be full transparency. I think in that situation, we would start to be able to trust the game that we love a little bit more. There's too much that is behind the scenes, and I think it could even be worked into contracts. Maybe, you are the 7th guy off the bench. You're not making as much as these starters, but, if you're doing it in front of everybody out in the open, what's the big deal? Clearly, you can't bet against your own team, but I would like to know if, you placed a bet on your team and see how confident you were and the dollar amount that you put down. And I think, by the way, we said that number is going to increase from 148 billion. What if we started letting the richest motherfuckers in the world put in bets? You want to see that double in a year? Do it. Do that.
And bro, and think about this, right? For the longest time, fighters used to be like, yo, I bet on myself to win. I'm kind of for it if it's in favor of you performing well. If given an option. Ideally, they don't. But to your point, if you're going to bet and I find out, yo, you're betting your unders, you want your team to lose, that's fucked up. But if you're betting overs, it means that you want to perform well.
Yeah.
That I'm more open to it. We can have a dialogue about that. Whereas, like, yo, Ryan Garcia said it against Devin Haney. He said he bet on himself $2 million. He won it, right? So, like, but why there? It's because rules are rapidly changing, and that's not leagues. It's not a team sport.
Right.
There, it's promotions. So there's no rules and regulations there. In the UFC, they're like, yo, bro, you can't do nothing. Can't even be seen in a sports book. For the most part, like we've had mad fighters on here. They're like, yo, we can't say no, don't worry, we'll do it.
Yeah,
we'll bet on it. So like that's why it's a little bit different. But yeah, to your point, man, you're gonna continue to see it. You see it happen often. Anyone that's ever lost a $25 parlay, congratulations. You feel validated over these last couple of weeks. But it's gonna continue to happen. It's gonna continue to happen. And let us know what you think about this conversation, man. True story. Pretty much everything that I said there, I shot in like an 18-minute video on my Canon G7.
No way.
Yeah. And then over the weekend was ComplexCon. And I brought it to ComplexCon. And Stat Baby from It Is What It Is. So she's like, yo, where'd you get that camera? I was like, yo, I've had this since like 2018. She's like, oh, it's the vlog camera. And I was like, yeah, yo, it's dope, whatever. She's like, can I use it to take some photos? I was like, yeah, sure. Forgetting, because that day was so hectic, that I had this footage. And then, I got the camera late last night and I was like, oh, this show's tomorrow. Might as well just
And you did good
for that.
That was good because you took me through players that I haven't heard in a while, and it was just like refreshing because It's sick, bro. It's like one of those scrolls that you see in a cartoon that's just never ending.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there was, who was that quarterback that I sent you a video of from Indiana, Mendoza?
Yeah.
After one of the games, there was like a fucked up play, and he's like, well, you know.
Took a safety. They were on the 30-yard line. He sprints 35 yards backwards to take a safety at the end of the game.
And what does he say? He's like, I know some people were affected by that. Why even open up the can of worms, bro? Why even entertain that? Like, sometimes people try to be slick when they talk and funny, and that's how you get in trouble.
Can't be slick and funny about sports betting right now. If you're an athlete, bro.
Be careful out there, man. It's vicious.
Yeah. It's crazy. I know we've said we're going to wrap up 3 times, but when I was at dinner with my brother's agent, and my brother's agent asked me what I did, and I was like, I want your truthful opinion about this. I'm one of the host of one of the best sports betting vibes on the internet, and we primarily focus on the NFL. And he's like, yeah, bro, don't worry about it. Because he knows at this point in time, everybody is doing it. The St. Brown's podcast has betting sponsors in it. There's plenty of ways in which you think there's a conflict of interest, but as long as you're just an upstanding citizen, it's not like the spotlight's going to be different. You know what I mean?
Bro, what about this? They're talking about it on First Take, and they flash ESPN bet.
Come on.
So,
yeah.
It's very interesting times. I am very passionate about this space. It's given me everything that I've ever wanted, and I will continue to do it. I love it. I love all you watching the show, listening to the show. Rate, review, subscribe, follow us where it is. You gotta follow us. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona is where you can find me. Follow the show, join the Patreon, and we'll see you Thursday. Peace.
I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.